It's not every UFC fight that we are treated to a match between two fighters who hate each other in real life, but there is always something so entertaining about seeing two feuding fighters have it out in the octagon. Sometimes, when two fighters have a negative history with one another, we get to see some crazy disrespectful actions from them. Or even rarer, we see other UFC fighters react disrespectfully to the end result of a fight. You won't believe some of the unprofessional things legendary fighters have done both in and out of the ring. Here are the most disrespectful reactions to UFC matches. First off, let's talk about some of the cruelest moves pulled against each other in the ring. Like this one fight between Randy Couture and Tito Ortiz in 2003. Couture was much older than Ortiz, with Ortiz believed to be the classic arrogant and brash younger fighter. A lot of fans were anticipating a Couture takedown. Ortiz had already gained quite a reputation. But in a pleasantly surprising twist, the older man was actually the one who took over the fight.
Tito with the left into the midsection. And he gets the takedown. He's got his back. He's got the choke.
Couture dominated. He was so much stronger and more experienced. So the fight inevitably went in his favor. Approaching the last round, Ortiz was 4 rounds in the hole, and there was no way he was going to take the 5th.
Appears to be tired. And Randy Couture been fighting for a while. He's down. Good takedown.
Couture was doing takedown after takedown, and things were not looking good for the younger fighter. So what does Ortiz do? In a final attempt to win the fight, he went for a submission move, a knee bar. The clock was winding down. Couture defended the futile move, and then something completely unexpected happened. To pay Ortiz back for all the disrespect he's endured on his behalf, Couture decided to go for the most humiliating thing you could imagine. While Ortiz was trapped in his upside-down position, Randy Couture spanked his opponent. Yep, he actually did that. The Huntington Beach bad boy himself was spanked in the middle of a match he was already losing in front of the entire crowd. Some fans thought this was the perfect way to pay Ortiz back for all the cruelty and disrespect he comes at his opponents with, while others thought that it was too inhumane and taking things too far. Commentators didn't know what to do.
He's got 37 seconds to pull this off.
It was so completely unexpected that they were at a loss for a moment. Regardless of the different reactions, you can't deny the disrespect in the action. Whether you like Ortiz or not, it's still hard to watch after witnessing him get completely destroyed throughout the entire match.
The champion of the world, Randy the Natural!
But that's not the only time a fighter has completely disrespected their opponent in a game they were already winning. Anyone remember UFC 125? It was Thiago Silva versus Brandon Vera, and it was an extremely difficult fight to call. Everyone watching was clueless about who was going to take the lead. At first, that is. Because not long after the start of the fight, Silva absolutely dominated proceedings for the 3 rounds.
You know what you gotta do.
He even broke Vera's nose so badly that it was disfigured and looked like a beak. Unbelievable, right? But what's even worse is the way he handled his final blows. Once Silva was in control of Vera from behind, with Vera stuck in a crouching position, he was completely trapped. Silva began punching him from behind before he realized that his opponent was trapped in his position. Once he realized it, he changed it up and began to play the bongos on Vera's back, basically taunting him. If you were in the crowd when that happened, what would your reaction be? Because the crowd at this fight absolutely lost it, breaking out in laughter across the entire arena. It was more of a fleeting moment. After a few seconds, Silva went back to punching Vera's head. But the small fraction of time that it did happen was so incredibly disrespectful. To already be dominating the match and have your opponent right where you want them, only to humiliate them even more? Now that's just cruel. But this story gets even worse for Vera. Just after the fight ended, Silva failed a post-fight drug test for anabolic steroids. Unbelievable, right? People were outraged. It was an entire scandal for the UFC, and he was fined a huge sum as well. Imagine how differently this fight might have played out if Silva wasn't on steroids. Would he still have the upper hand and take Vera down? Or would Vera come out on top? I guess we'll never know now. But since we're on the topic of sore winners, There was one time when things could not have been more uncomfortable after a fight. It was a fight between Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate at UFC 168. And well, let's just say that Rousey was the ultimate definition of a sore loser, okay? Let me set the scene for you. Rousey was up against her longtime bitter rival, someone who had spent her time taunting and belittling Rousey and her trainer, Edmond Tarverdyan. It had been happening all these months leading up to the fight, so naturally there was some pent-up aggression. But don't feel too bad for her.
She's dragged it to the ground. She's on top.
Oh, nice punch.
Misha's back up to her
Good
feet.
knee.
She eats a knee.
Because Rousey took her revenge by absolutely destroying her opponent.
Looking for it.
Uh-oh, she's got it extended. Oh, my goodness.
Miesha trying to fight it off.
Leading to a third-round armbar finish. The fight had ended, and Rousey had won and solidified her superiority in the game. So it's over, right? Wrong. Rousey had one more trick up her sleeve, and so she had one final try at completely humiliating her opponent. What exactly did she do? Well, let me take you there. The fight was over. The two women were standing face to face, and Rousey had been announced the winner. But in an unexpected twist, Tate wanted to end their grudge once and for all by shaking Rousey's hand. She acknowledged Rousey as the better fighter by holding out her hand for her to take it, but Rousey didn't take it.
Winner by armbar.
Wow, she went to shake Ronda's hand and Ronda walked away from her.
That's right, Rousey was not going to take the easy way out with this. Instead, she celebrated her win with her smaller group and completely ignored Tate. But why did she do this? Why not just act gracious? You already won the match. Rousey later explained her reasoning, and it kind of makes their whole feud more intense.
For me, family comes before anything, even the boos and cheers of the crowd. And I feel like it would disrespect what she had done to my family if I shook her hand. And I say she did an amazing job, but I can't shake the hand of someone who spits on my back.
Ronda Rousey explained that she felt Tate was just trying to pretend to be a good sport after losing, and that it was all an act for the cameras. She said that had the cameras not been there, Tate would have never congratulated Rousey for her win, let alone commend her for it. It would have been refreshing to see Rousey be a gracious winner, especially because, despite it all, Tate wanted to make amends after the match, even after all she had done to hurt Rousey during their time feuding. But maybe it was just for the cameras, who knows? Still, it was hard to watch someone completely reject their losing opponent's congratulations after seeing them feud for so long. Over the years of countless UFC fights, it should be no surprise that there have been instances of fighters not playing fairly. While that's true, it's still pretty shocking to see complete and utter disrespect passed between opponents. And when you consider the fact that it's usually the winner who's doing the humiliation, it paints it in a whole new light. What do you think? Do you think any of these fighters went too far? Or do you think it's all good fun? Regardless of your opinion, you can't deny that it's fun to watch. Anyway, it's so unexpected you can't believe your own eyes. Those were the most disrespectful reactions to UFC matches.